Would you believe that the company that brought you scissor doors and the best sounding V12s on the market are copying the Prius? Alright, before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe if you want to see more content like this, trying something new, and make sure you go subscribe on the main channel as well. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on both channels, and yeah, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Now, I probably don't even have to tell you, but it's Lamborghini. Yes, Lamborghini is going hybrid. Now, the first model that we are aware of that they're going hybrid with is the Huracan, everybody's favorite douche tuber car. It's every day. Now, sometime in 2024, the Huracan and the Urus are going to become plug-in hybrids. Now, if you know anything about a little car called the LaFerrari, these will probably be actually badass. Now, as for information on the Huracan and the Urus, we don't know anything yet, assuming they'll still be V10 cars, but we're not 100% sure. We might have a hint from another announcement they made very recently. Lamborghini announced a new drivetrain, actually, without announcing the vehicle it would be going in. They're coming out with a triple electric motor 6.5 liter V12 with a total output of 1,000 horsepower. Now, they didn't come out and say it, but we can all guess this is going in the Aventador unless they canceled the Aventador name and it is going in something else. The model code that came up with this is the LB744. So this LB744 V12 is going to have a 12.6 to 1 compression ratio and revs out to 9,250 RPM. And this is just the internal combustion engine making 814 horsepower by itself, along with 535 foot-pounds of torque. And somehow they got the thing to weigh under 500 pounds. It weighs in at around 481 pounds. And it's a freaking V12. I have no idea how they got it to be that light. I'm assuming it's some all aluminum, or maybe they're going back to magnesium because, you know, everybody loved magnesium engines. Now, this big V12 is going to be hooked up to an 8-speed dual clutch transmission, with the first electric motor actually being hooked up to the tail of that transmission. Now, unlike the other Lamborghini all-wheel drives, this doesn't have a torque tube going to the front. It is all electric in the front, and the electric motor and internal combustion engine power goes straight to the rear wheel. Now, they're actually able to use this electric motor they have at the rear of the transmission as a charging system for the batteries to charge or to drive all these electric motors on board, and as a starter. And they can use that as regenerative braking. That's a hard word. Regenerative. So each of these electric motors are making roughly around 150 horsepower. So with your two on the front, it's roughly 300 to the wheels, or 300 at the crank. I don't really know. Is there brake horsepower on an electric motor? With the combination of the V12 and that electric motor to the rear, already making 1,000 horsepower, this thing is going to freaking rip. Based on these numbers, I would actually expect it to be performing up there with the LaFerrari and probably the Porsche 918 as well, both hybrids. When this thing finally comes out, it's going to be snapping necks. It's going to be so fast with that low-end torque from the electric motors, and then right as you're midway through the gear, you hear that V12 just start ripping to the moon. Personally, I really like these style of hybrids. I'm not really into the whole electric car thing, just being a car guy, but I really like the way they're going with these hybrids, making the electric motors perform with the internal combustion engine. It's just super cool to me. Kind of wish other companies would look to them for this. Now, just imagine the Dodge Demon with making 840 horsepower already, pretty comparable, with two electric motors on it too. That thing, I can't even remember. I'll put up the number somewhere of its quarter mile time. That would be insanely fast. There would be no time waiting to get into the power. It would just be all power all the time. So this V12 hybrid combo will likely be going into the Aventador or whatever replaces the Aventador. And as far as the Huracan and the Urus, they released no details yet. I'm assuming it's going to be a similar setup, you know, your V10 with 3 electric motors instead of the V12. This LB744 car model, whatever this V12 thing is going into, will actually be announced at the end of this month. So we'll get to see that. Hopefully I'll make a video on that too if it's interesting. And for the Huracan and the Urus, they didn't really give us a date. They just said 2024. So that could be a model year 2024, or it could be sometime in 2024 they release this, but we'll see. I'm pretty excited for both of these, or all 3 of these, because I love Lamborghinis. Always been amazing cars. And yeah. Thank you guys for watching and checking out the second channel. And make sure you go over to the main channel and check that out too if you somehow got here first. If you like this, make sure you like the video and comment down below what you think of this hybrid Lamborghini. Make sure you subscribe and we'll keep you up to date on anything that drives.